I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to them boys that sat on them benches, boy. I was in the game on 4 inches. Coach put me in the game on 4 inches. Put me in the game on 4 inches. Coach put me in the game on 4 inches. And I'ma lead them boys at the line of scrimmage.
All right, y'all, welcome back to 4th and Inches. It's your boy Nick, man. Drake couldn't make it with me today. We've been gone for a little while. Some little things done changed, man. Welcome to my new little office space. You know, nothing special, but it's a start. You know what I'm saying? Every journey started with one step, and here we are. So let's catch up. Been gone for a couple weeks now. Georgia still dominant. Alabama still winning games. Cincinnati still struggling. The ACC still a mess. Oregon still the best team in the Pac-12, even though they are a 3-point underdog this weekend. We will talk about it later. Oklahoma loses, so the Big 12 probably won't make a playoff team. The Big 10 is still Ohio State and everybody else, but they have Michigan State this weekend, Michigan next weekend. Again, we're going to talk about it. Let's see. Cincinnati, like I said, they're still struggling to win games, but they are still undefeated, and they are actually moved up to number 5 right now in the rankings. So that being said, if they continue, and if they can ever manage to look like a top 4 team in the country, and a team in front of them loses, hey, we might have our first, group of 5 team in the playoff. I would love to see it. Cincinnati is actually a good team. I don't know why they've been struggling lately, but they are really a good team. Let's see. A&M lost. Auburn has lost. So now the SEC outside of Georgia and Alabama is starting to look like the ACC. You know what I'm saying? Just a big mess. You don't know who's going to win from week to week, which is what we want as college football fans. If you don't want that, I don't think you're a real college football fan, because that means all the games are entertaining. So, yeah, what did I miss? Just watch Joel Klatt on Fox make the case that Notre Dame, has a chance to make it to the playoff. I think Joel is tripping. I think Joel really was searching for some material to make a show out of and landed on, you know what? Notre Dame has a great fan base. Let's see what they are going to do for us. I don't know. I have no idea, but I don't believe that. I think it's cap. I don't think there's no way they're going to make it. I don't think they have a chance at all. You've already lost at home to Cincinnati. That's a tough loss to overcome, man, because it's Cincinnati. And clearly Cincinnati ain't getting the respect that they feel like they deserve. What else is new? Oh, No Shave November. So if I look a little rough, hey, man, I'm participating in No Shave November. See how that goes. To be honest with y'all, I can't really wait till December the 1st. I go and clean some of this up. But it is what it is, though. Yeah, that's about it, for last week. Oh, let me run down the top 25 right quick and check my notes here. Top 25, you got Georgia 1, Alabama 2, Oregon 3, Ohio State number 4, Cincinnati 5, Michigan 6, Michigan State 7, Notre Dame 8, Oklahoma State 9, Wake Forest 10. I'm not going to go through the whole 25. I'm just going to do those 10. Because the only ones that's really important right now as far as the playoff picture, because we are in our last 2 weeks of the regular season, is really your top 6. Like I said, Georgia has Charleston Southern this weekend, Georgia Tech next weekend, and then they more than likely will play Alabama in the championship game. Now, Alabama has Arkansas this weekend, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and then they have the Iron Bowl after that. If they win either of those games, they guarantee their spot in the SEC championship game, but they have to win both of those to keep their playoff hopes alive. So no time for them to rest. They have to be, in urgent mode both games. Oregon, like I said, they're a 3-point underdog this week on the road at Utah. If they win, they clinch the Pac-12 North, and they'll probably see Utah again in the Pac-12 championship game. And the same goes for Utah. If they win the Pac-12 South, and they guarantee that spot in the championship game, and they'll probably see Oregon in that game as well. Ohio State. Now, Ohio State is interesting to me because they have Michigan State this weekend and Michigan next weekend. So they're basically, they're kind of in the same boat as Alabama as far as you must win these last 2 games. Even though you're favored in both, You have to win both of these games to keep your playoff hopes alive. So these is like, for Ohio State anyway, you basically say your best 2 games for the last 2 games of the season, and you must play that way. A lot of pressure. Not saying they can't do it. They probably have the best team in the Big Ten, at least so far this year. You know, C.J. Stroud is a Heisman candidate. So is Kenneth Walker, I believe is his name, the running back from Michigan State. But I think Ohio State has the better team. We'll see how it play out. Cincinnati, they just have to basically maintain serve and look impressive while doing it. And that's how they've been all year. More than likely, if they continue to win and Houston continues to win, they will see Houston in the championship game, that conference championship game, and that'll give them another ranked team that they could play. But other than that, just handle your business. Michigan, again, Michigan has Ohio State next week. So they control their own destiny. If they win this week and then win next week at Ohio State, then they'll be, in a great position to make the playoff, because that sends them to the Big Ten championship. Now, how the Big Ten managed to put Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State all on one side of the conference, I will never know. But that's what they did, and you see how it's playing out. Now, Michigan State at 7. Michigan State, just like Michigan, controls their own destiny. If Michigan State can upset Ohio State this weekend, that'll shoot them right back in the top 4. They, they more than likely would win the Big Ten East, I believe it is, and go to the Big Ten championship game. I want to say Wisconsin is more than likely the team that's going to win the West. Either way, if it's Wisconsin or Iowa, whomever, then Ohio State, Michigan, whoever wins the East out of those will be favored. They'll probably be favored by 20 points or more in that game. So that's just how that's going to play out. So with that being said, I just don't see no way for Notre Dame to win it, which is what made me go to that. Joe Klatt. Great TV, though. Great TV, great segment, because I actually watched it on YouTube, and I actually watched the entire segment. It was interesting, man. You did your job, man. You got the clicks. Okay, I clicked. You got me. But stop it. So with that being said, man, we'll take a quick break. We're going to jump into the games for this week. By Any Means Clothing is a proud sponsor of the 4th and Inches and Southern Fried Talk podcast. Hoodie season is upon us. Don't get caught without yours. For these designs and many more, please hit the link in the description. There's clothing available for kids all the way up to adults, including females, leggings, t-shirts, everything you can think of. All right, man, and welcome back for the Week 11 preview. I ain't going to take too long. I got 7 games here in front of me. We're going to run through them, fairly quickly. Like I said, I ain't going to take too long. First one, number 14, BYU is actually on the road at Georgia Southern. Yes, you heard that right, at Georgia Southern. BYU will be making the first trip in history to the prettiest little stadium in America, Allen E. Paulson Stadium, to take on the Eagles. Now, BYU is a 20-point favorite. They're ranked number 14 in the country. But I like Georgia Southern, man. That's my team. Like, I'm biased, man. I grew up going to the games, man. If I had a different job and I wasn't working on the weekend, I would be at this game as well. But Southern having a tough season right now. BYU should win this game. There's no reason for Southern to win. But that 20 points is a lot of points to give up to a team that's at home. You know what I mean? Like, if you're giving up 20 on the road, that's hard to do, especially in a place like, like Statesboro or Boone, North Carolina. Stadiums that are kind of overlooked as far as their difficulty or their environment, but places that really should rank high, especially with schools that's on that same level. So I look for Southern to cover, but BYU to win. Like I say, Southern is having a tough season this year. Hopefully they can bounce back and get things on track next year. Now, the biggest game of the weekend, of course, is number 7, Michigan State, and number 4, Ohio State. Ohio State is a 19-point favorite. Michigan just lost a game, not last week, but week before last. They were able to bounce back and get a dub last week. Ohio State has just been Ohio State. I mean, since the Oregon's lost, they've kind of been on a roll and just basically beating teams down like they supposed to. So there's every reason to believe that they will continue that. Both teams are fairly simple, really, to stop. I mean, offensively anyway. Michigan, they depend on their run game, and they depend on big plays in the passing game. which is a great formula because, like I said, the running back is a Heisman candidate. So they depend on, we're going to run the ball, then we're going to play action and throw it deep over your head when you creep up. Ohio State is pretty much the opposite. They come out throwing the ball with C.J. Stroud and that track team, they got a receiver. So, excuse me. So if either of their strengths is taken away, it kind of limits their offense. So with that being said, I'm going to lean Ohio State to win this game because I believe they just have more offensive firepower. I mean, their running game isn't terrible. It's actually pretty decent. They just don't run the ball a lot, whereas Michigan State is a run-dominant team, which kind of makes them a little more predictable, but their ability to stretch the field and go deep at spots also makes you stay balanced. But I do believe that if you can control the line of scrimmage, you can stop Michigan State. Like, you can really shut down their run game if you control the line of scrimmage. You can control the line of scrimmage against Ohio State and still get beat because they're going to throw the ball. And if the deep ball isn't working, they'll just go to the short, quick passes and pick you apart that way. So I'm going to go with Ohio State in this game. But I do look for it to be closer than 19 points. I mean, to me, it's either going to be one or two things. Either it's going to be very close and Michigan State is going to, basically lean on their run game and shorten the game and deliver those body blows and be right there in the fourth quarter. Or Ohio State is going to jump out to a big lead and things can get ugly early. I definitely lean more toward the closer game, but it could go either way. Now, Iowa State is on the road at number 13, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is coming off his first loss of the season. The big question is, how will they bounce back? You have a true freshman at quarterback who came in and people are anointing him, the next coming, and he should be a Heisman candidate after playing 3 or 4 games, and that's ludicrous to me. But the guy's been playing well. I can't take anything from him. He's been playing very well. But how will you react to adversity? I mean, you had a bad game last week as a team. I'm not just saying him. As a team, you had a bad game last week. So this week, will you bounce back and get up for an Iowa State team that's actually pretty good? I mean, people kind of sleep on it because they have a few losses. They're still a pretty good team. And if you don't get up for Iowa State, if you don't treat them with the proper respect, they will beat you again, and you will lose 2 games in a row. And at that point, your playoff chances aren't just slim, but it's going to be none. And I mean none for the entire Big 12. It's already slim, but it's going to be absolutely nothing at that point. Now, number 21, Arkansas is on the road at number 2, Alabama. Bama is another big favorite. I believe they're favored by 20 in this game. I like Arkansas as a team, man. Sam Pittman really has turned the things around over there in 2 years. But Alabama is still Alabama. And Alabama is a better team. They're more talented across the board than Arkansas is. However, Arkansas is one of those teams that you don't want to play because they're going to come out, they're going to hit you in the mouth, they're going to be physical, they're going to be disciplined, they're not going to beat themselves. So you're going to have to just be better than them to win the game. Alabama can be better than them. They are better than them. They should win this game. They should win this game in a similar fashion as Georgia did as far as the points. Now, Alabama's defense isn't nearly as dominant, but the offense is more explosive. However, if Alabama comes out and play Arkansas the way they played at LSU, not only would this be a close game, but they will lose. I'm being as honest as I could possibly be. They will lose this game if they come out and play the same way they did against LSU. That was an embarrassment to Alabama football. Period, point blank. But do I believe they will? No. Nick Saban's already been fussing and cussing at the team. He said they had a poor practice early in the week. I believe the players are going to come out with urgency and have something to prove. So I look for Alabama to win this game because, like I said, they have to have this game and next week against Auburn to get to Atlanta, and then they have to win the game in Atlanta if they want to make the playoffs. So they're in desperation mode, and I look for them to play like they're in desperation mode. Now, number 3, Oregon is on the road at number 23, Utah. Again, Utah is favored by 3 in this game. I have not watched a single game from Utah. I've seen a few highlights, not actually sat down to watch the games, mostly because the games come on at 10:30 at night, and I have to work the next day. I'm not staying up that late to watch the game. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to catch some, on replay. But like I said, I've seen highlights. So I'm not gonna try to judge them too harshly or too, critically off the highlights I've seen. They look like a pretty decent team though. Kyle Whittingham always has a decent team. They're always well coached. They're always physical. I expect nothing less. Them being favored though was a surprise to me because Oregon has looked so good all season. They did have a loss to Stanford, which kind of like the Alabama LSU game. If you don't bring your A game, you can't be beat. So I just kind of chopped it up to that because I saw, most of that game. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw most of that game, and Oregon just didn't have it that day, and Stanford was bringing it to them. So I look at this game and say, okay, who has more to play for, Oregon or Utah? And the quick answer is simple: it's Oregon, because Oregon right now is the only Pac-12 team with a chance to make the playoff. And I know the playoff, shouldn't be the end all be all, but you play to win the game. And you win the game because you want to be the best at the end of the day. The only way to be the best is to make the playoff and then prove that you're the best at that point. So being that they're the only team in the Pac-12 with a chance to make it, and they're a 3-point underdog, I think they're going to come out with a lot of fire. And they're going to be able to pull the upset in Salt Lake City. But Utah is not going to make it easy. Utah is going to come out with an equal amount of fire. Whichever team wins this game wins, their side of the conference. Oregon in the Pac-12 North, Utah in the Pac-12 South. More than likely, this is just a preview to what the Pac-12 championship game is going to be, because, like I say, both teams are one win away from clinching their conference spot. So I believe Oregon will win this game, and then I believe Utah will win next week, which will send both of them to the Pac-12 championship. And we're going to see how that works in the rematch. It's always hard to beat a team twice in one season. Now, one of the most interesting games to me of this entire week is Auburn at South Carolina. Auburn is a 7.5-point favorite, even though they don't have Bo Nix. Bo Nix broke his leg last week. He's out for the remainder of the season. We wish him speedy recovery and hope he can come back next year, better or whatever. Not whatever, but just as a better player. I know he's going to be fine as a person. He's a young guy. He's tough. And he's going to be up and walking probably by the end of this game. Like, he's that type of person. However, TJ Finley is taking over at quarterback. TJ Finley is kind of similar to Bo Nix as far as, he's a athletic, mobile guy, big arm, all that good stuff. So they have similar skill sets. TJ Finley, if you remember, was a quarterback at LSU, transferred over to Auburn this offseason. So he's very capable, very, very capable. He's should be great. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, South Carolina, they've been dealing with their own quarterback issues. I believe they're on their third or fourth string right now because everybody stays hurt at quarterback for them. So I'm going to take Auburn, but I won't be surprised if South Carolina wins because South Carolina can dominate running the ball with Kevin Harris. Their defense plays fundamental. They're not what they're going to be, but you can see South Carolina coming. You know what I mean? Shane Beamer has them on the right track. I'm sorry, I struggle with his name. But Shane Beamer has them on the right track, and they're coming. Like, I look for them in, let's say, the next 3 to 4 years. I'm not saying they're going to be beating the Georgias and Alabamas of the world, but if they keep going on this same trajectory, if they can get into recruiting and get their recruiting levels up, then they could be right there trying to challenge those guys. They could be right there with the Auburns and the Kentuckys, where they should be. They should be right there, right trying to get to that top level. And like I said, Shane Beamer has those guys playing well. All he has to do now is kind of win some of those recruiting battles. And there's no reason South Carolina can't be every bit of as good as Clemson is. I'm just being honest. If you have a reason why they can't be, let me know. Don't worry about it. I'll wait. Now, the last game I want to speak on for this whole week is not necessarily a big game, but it's kind of important to me as a fan. Charleston Southern is on the road at #1 Georgia. I know y'all like, why would I talk about this game? Because it's senior day for the University of Georgia. I'm not sure how many people are going to actually be introduced as seniors. Georgia has basically started a thing where a lot of the juniors, they're probably going to go high in the NFL draft. They allow those guys to walk too. So if Nolan Smith walks, I will not be surprised. Lewis Seen, not surprising at all. Even a guy like George Pickens, even though he hadn't played all year, if he were to be out there with those seniors, I really wouldn't be surprised, because even though he hasn't played all season with a torn ACL, I believe he'll get drafted if he came out. I'm not saying that those guys will come out. I'm saying that they can. But with all that being said, man, I just wanted to tell the seniors, as a fan, I appreciate you for the last 4 years. It's been a pleasure to watch you. I wish all of you much luck at the next level or whatever it is you choose to do in life. And good luck Saturday. Peace.
I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to him. I don't talk to them boys that sat on them benches, boy. I was in the game on 4th inches. Coach put me in the game on 4th inches. Put me in the game on 4th inches. Coach put me in the game on 4th inches. And